Thank you. All right, we are live. So, good morning. This is Robin from Roaming with Rover, and we are here today with Cynthia from Cynthia's Joyful Creations. And I'm so excited to have you with us today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, and there's KB Fibers. Good morning. Oh, here comes our Dooley Raid. I'm still trying to get all settled here. Hello. Oh, thank you so much for popping in. Hey, Runaway. How are you doing today?
Hi, Mayor.
Playing hooky. Nice. And Terry's Treasure is hi. Hi, Roseanne.
Hi, Roseanne.
Nana. Oh, look at all these
Nana
lovely
Michelle.
people joining us. How wonderful.
Terry's
Can you
Treasure.
guys hear me okay? I always worry about my sound and my light and all of that kind of stuff. I got a new computer, and the sound, I think you guys have probably heard a couple of my videos. The sound just goes in and out. It's just terrible. Hey, Dana, good morning.
Dana.
Thank you for popping in.
Hey, Wanda. Got our truck drivers here.
Hi. Oh, I did not. Catching my breath from everything. We have been super busy here because, as you know, I'm moving. I feel like I've moved twice in the last couple of weeks and still running around trying to get things done. And I finally have a bit of a path cleared through the house, getting rid of boxes. And I walked into the bedroom yesterday. I'm like, oh, there's not a stack of boxes at the end of the bed. It feels so much bigger now. So we're getting there slowly but surely. We are getting there. Good morning, Christy. How are you?
Good morning, Christy.
Hi, Wanda. How's everyone this morning? Gosh, look at this wonderful group of people joining us today. It's so exciting. So today is all about Cynthia. We're very excited that you were able to pop in today. Look at all your beautiful, I love to see all the beautiful yarn walls that people have. I will someday. But right now I just have yarn boxes, but that's okay. So
a lot
Cynthia,
of that yarn is outdated.
Oh, there's no such thing as outdated yarn. Yarn is wonderful. You know, it's funny that you say that because I have had people say, my grandma just passed away and she's got 5,000 skeins of yarn. Do you want it? And you go in there and it's the most awful, stuff from 45, 50 years ago. And it's disintegrating and it's not even soft, because some of those earlier yarns were so bad.
Right.
And they didn't have the access to the variety of yarns that we do now. And, so, and I was one of those. I had when I was cleaning stuff out for this move, I found a couple boxes of the yarn that I wouldn't even use these days. It was so bad. And I just thought it was wonderful yarn back in the day. So I get that. Hey, Dory. Good morning.
Hey, Dory.
So Cynthia, why don't you tell us how you got started on YouTube?
Well, I was talking with my youngest son actually, and was telling him how I really wish that I had other people that I knew that crocheted and had the same passion I did. Because even though at that point I had been crocheting about 15 years, I had done nothing but like single, half double crochet and making blankets. That's all I'd ever done. The only other thing I'd really done was knitting dishcloths. So I wanted to learn more, but I wanted other people that shared that passion because, my children and my husband could only get so excited because back then none of them cared about yarn, unless it was something being made for them. And my youngest son was really into YouTube and gaming. And he's like, well, Mom, have you ever thought about, starting a YouTube channel? And I was like, oh gosh, no, there's no way. And so little by little, he started showing me stuff, and thus Cynthia's Joyful Creations was born. Actually, it started out as Joyful Creations. And then I began to learn that there was another channel that did like fashion that was Joyful Creations. And so then Cynthia got added on. So, but yeah, that's how it got started. My youngest son, actually.
That's funny. It was my 6-year-old grandson that was like, I'm making YouTube videos. I'm like, if you can do it, I can do it.
Right.
Although I am still learning. There's so much to learn.
That's my alarm that you're on. Sorry.
No. Yes, Nana, that's right. Dead people yarn. And people always want to give it to us. And there's a use for it. I got that horrible tangled box the other day and got it all untangled. And boy, there's not nearly as much in there as it looked like when it was tangled. But I decided I'm going to make a scrap basket. Just, do all the yarns together and do a big old basket. It's going to be a perfect for use for that. And I think some of the dead people yarn, that's good use for it too. But
it's also good for making rugs,
Mhm.
something that yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. I want to try to make some cushions for the outside chairs. I'm not sure. I think this is, I don't know. I don't know if it's outside yarn or not. But yeah, I want to try and make some outside cushions too. Just something that's very utilitarian that can get beat up and walked on
Right.
and that kind of thing. Hey, Lori Hooks, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi.
If I have missed anybody, hello, everyone. And I don't know if I have any of my moderators in here yet. If I do, please go ahead and put CC, and I'm happy to have you guys put your links down. But having said that, I'm not seeing any names that are my moderators. So we'll check. We'll keep an eye on that. I don't have very many yet. 2 or 3 is all. Okay, so that's how you got started on here. And I see that you've been on here since about 2019. And I have a dog the dogs are very unhappy when I do this because I'm on their couch. So they're like, Mom, you need to move. So they're going to be barging in here any minute now. Hey, Dana, thank you. You're driving. That's fine. We know.
Love you,
No, Max, don't knock me over. He's an inch from the computer. Get your nose out of there. So one of the things that I find so interesting about your channel is the variety of things that you do. You have all different kinds of, I don't want to say subjects because it all kind of blends together. Here we go. He's going to knock this over. Stop. But how did you, so you started it so that you could connect with other crocheters. And I love that because that's kind of what I use it for as well. Because I don't know, I know one other person who crochets, and the only thing she does is Tunisian, which
oh wow.
I don't like Tunisian. But other than that, yeah, I don't have anybody to interact with, and nobody enjoys my yarn and how excited we get when we get new stuff. So I agree with you on that. So when you first started, what was your idea for what your channel was going to be?
I really thought that it was just going to be strictly crochet and sharing like the things that I was making, but also trying to do tutorials and, just try to get other people started in crocheting if they weren't, just really kind of lighten that fire of passion for the fiber arts. And it kind of branched off from there.
It really has. It really has. So let's talk about the different types of things. I know it's one channel, but it seems like you have multiple channels. I'm going to just talk about a few things that people have posted. Rugs for animal shelters. That's a great idea also.
Yes.
Yeah. And Kim has old lady yarn. Yep. Old acrylics and the Sayel. I don't ever remember even using the Sayel, but I have heard about it. I've heard it's pretty horrible. That's funny. And the waffle stitch. Okay. Yeah. Cause it's really, really dense. It's really dense. I don't know how to do waffle stitch, but I don't think it's that hard. I think, somebody told me everything is one stitch at a time. And that when I see something that's complex, I go, okay, one stitch at a time. I can do this. I can do this. Okay. So let's talk about, I guess, your different subjects. Well, while it's one channel, you have some very distinct groupings of types of videos that you do, which I find really, really interesting. I think that's a great way to get people to cross over into something that they wouldn't maybe normally see or be able to find. And as you comment creators know, keeping up with channels is a lot of work. And so I can't imagine having 3 or 4 different channels and keeping up with them all. So you started out doing yarn stuff and tutorials. Do you enjoy doing the tutorials?
I do actually.
What was your favorite tutorial that you can think of? I know it's hard to pick a favorite, but if you
Um,
enjoy doing.
well, most people would say you better say the Longmire blanket, but we'll leave that towards the talking about movie night. My favorite tutorial, it would really honestly be a toss up between the checkerboard that I did
I
and
just
the
watched
bag
that.
that I created,
That was cute.
or the hoodie that I made for my son, but I did
Oh,
as a
yeah.
tutorial.
Yeah.
Um, but I think really I'd have to say the checkerboard was a lot of fun.
That was so cute, and what a clever idea. That
And
was such a good idea.
and it actually gets used quite a bit here. So that's
Oh, good.
actually, yeah, not only a fun project that it was to make, but something that is actually getting lots of use out of.
Mhm.
So
That's always nice when something gets used. I can't imagine doing a tutorial. I give major props to those of you, and I know several of you guys do them, and you do a wonderful job. And I'm like, I can barely figure this stuff out on my own, let alone try to show someone else. So that's major props. Now, do you design as well? Do you design patterns as well?
I haven't put anything out recently that I have designed. I am currently still working on an Elvis blanket that a lot of people are like, oh my gosh. So I'm not sure that there'll be a tutorial for that one, just simply because it is a very intricate project,
Mhm.
but I probably will put it in a pattern form
Okay.
and put it, yeah. But but I do, and I have a lot of ideas that I really want to bring out that I just haven't had the time to do.
Mhm.
Not just with crochet. Well, it's crocheting, but it's actually mixing other fiber products
Mhm.
with the crochet. So I've got some different ideas there. But then I actually have started designing too. I keep looking over there because that's my cabinet that has all of
Yep.
my
Yep.
notes and notebooks. But I have actually two sweaters that I have been working on, and they're both kind of like duster sweaters, so they go
Oh,
down,
yeah.
you know.
Longer, yeah. I like
But
the longer ones.
but yeah, hopefully one day.
It's a lot of work. Everything is a lot of work. And doing a tutorial, you have to set up each thing and do the stitching and show what you're doing. And you got to have a good light setup and a good area to work. And it's a lot. I mean, it's even
Right.
more work than your basic everyday shows. So again, just mad props to those of you that do that. And I know there's a
Right.
lot of you that do, and I can't even imagine doing all of that kind of stuff. When when you're designing, well, first of all, your Elvis blanket, what's the stitch that you're using for that?
It's a half double crochet.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
it's a very
taking
simple
some time.
stitch.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of different yarns
Mm-hmm.
attached to,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because the way I'm doing it, it's like creating a border around his face, like
Oh,
a picture frame border,
uh-huh.
and the colors are changing. And then, like at the bottom, I actually wrote his name out, and there's hearts at the bottom, and they switch colors.
Wow.
So I have, like, I can't remember, it's either 6 or 8 skeins attached to the blanket so
My
that
God.
I don't have to carry the yarn every
Yes.
time,
Yes.
but at the same time, so it's definitely a tabletop project. It's
Hmm.
not something
Yeah,
I can
they get
just,
to be
yeah.
so messy. You can't even work with them. I know. I hear you on
But the
that one.
goal is to finish it before the end of this year.
The end of this year. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying not to set so many goals this year because I had way too many last year. And it
Right.
wasn't fun anymore when I was struggling to try to finish and get to what I had committed myself to. So I'm trying to not do as many commitments this year. Everything is just on my own. Um,
No's a hard word for me too.
yes, it is. And everything looks like so much fun. I just want to do them all.
Like, I've
Um,
committed to do the cottagecore mosaic, and everybody else has started, but not me. And so everyone keeps saying, "It's okay, it's okay. You got till the end of the year." I might be that one that's not done at the end of the year.
and I was able to say no to that one for a couple of reasons. I knew I wouldn't get it finished with everything going on. I didn't even have time to start it, let alone finish it. Um, and I've not done any mosaic yet, so it would be a complete learning curve, which I do want to learn, but it's not way up high on my list.
Right.
And I didn't love the pattern. And I couldn't see spending that much time on something that I just wasn't in love with. Now, hey Daniel, guys.
Hi.
I have found a mosaic pattern, and I'm sure I've mentioned this before. In our new little teeny tiny house, I want to decorate Western, like think Texas Western, not Southwestern. So cowboy hats and boots and stars and stuff like that. And I found a mosaic pattern with all that stuff in it. Now that pattern I love, and I do want to do that for in here. And Daniel, thank you, Daniel, again. When I was looking at the pattern, I'm like, I love this and this, but I don't love this one. Well, when the one he's doing, he's not doing all the sections. I'm like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
It never occurs to me to change anything. So I'm very excited now, even more excited that I'm going to do that pattern, but I'm going to leave some of the things out and add some stuff from a different pattern. But that's definitely a next year project for sure. So I'll let you guys can all figure out how to do the mosaic, and then I'll have you show me. So, but I get that. I get that with being overbooked on stuff 100%. So don't feel pressured to do that if you don't want to. That's what I think about that.
I do want to learn more about mosaic.
Mm-hmm.
The only mosaic item I've made is that notions bag
Mm-hmm.
that everybody wants.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to challenge myself, and that's the thing. I've not challenged myself with crochet in quite some time. So
yeah, I've done a few challenges this year, and Ash is doing that sock class. I guess we'll call it a class. And I'm just chomping at the bit. I've got my yarn set aside, and I'm just waiting for him to tell me what hook to go buy. Or I'm sorry, it's not a hook, is it? It's knit. So which needles to go buy, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it. We'll see how it looks, but we're gonna get that one done. So yeah, I have a few challenges. I think that's a great idea to have a couple of challenges every year, just to keep yourself fresh. Yeah, and we were talking before about if you work on one project at a time, or if you're like me and have way too many projects. Hey, Kathy. Hi, everybody. I like the idea of having something new that is a little more challenging, and then some easier things to just give your brain a little bit of a rest. So that's how that's how I allow myself to do multiple projects at the same time. How about you? Are you a multiple project person, or one at a time?
I have tried to do multiple projects.
Oh,
as y'all know, there's quite a few on my hooks, but I can only do one at a time.
Really?
Yeah, it just becomes too much.
That's funny. I'm finding, and I didn't think I would ever say this, but I'm finding, because I don't have room in here to keep my projects, I've just got the one in my bag that I'm working on, and I'm kind of liking it. It feels a little less stressed, but at the same time, I'm seeing all the stuff sitting out the motorhome still that I haven't touched in however long since we've been here, 3 weeks. And I know if I don't touch something for a while, it ends up not getting finished. So I don't know. Yeah, you're right. We all need those mindless projects that we can just sit and watch TV and let our brains do it. But that's kind of what's happening with me. Hey, Froggy. Excuse me. Sorry. So you like to do one at a time, and at the same time, you've got some big projects. So I know you're doing more than one.
I do.
Yep.
And of course, Trish and I are getting ready to start doing make-alongs every month. We're going to start trying to sponsor smaller channels.
Oh, good.
And do one of their tutorials every month. So, yeah.
She's a sweetheart. She is a sweetheart. We're going to have her, speaking of Trish, the Purple Yarnivore, I've just been in contact with her the last day or two to schedule a time. So we're going to have her on a live in the future. And we're just trying to figure out a date, probably sometime in June is what we're looking at right now. So that's exciting. I'm really excited for that. She's a sweetheart. I love listening to her. She's just so silly and so bubbly. She makes me smile. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that as well. So let's talk about all your different subjects. Oh, Cynthia, Kim is asking if you have a tutorial for the notions bag.
I don't, because it's not my pattern.
Mm.
Oh goodness, it's Tina's. I never say her name right, her last name. But she's the big mosaic queen that's on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually her pattern. Um, what I can do is this Friday night for my live, I can drop her link in the description box.
Oh, that'd be
So
wonderful. That'd be wonderful. Do you know if she's got a tutorial for it?
she does. That's actually where I learned how to do it.
Oh, perfect. And I know
Yeah.
she's a really good teacher too. I've watched
Yes.
some of her videos and I know exactly who you're talking about. And I, again, I have no brain these days, so I can't remember anything. But yeah, that'd be good. And my understanding, and I could be wrong, if you're doing somebody else's pattern, it's okay to show, like you can show, hey, I struggled with this and this is how I fixed it. But that's kind of about it. Oh, Tina from Iceland?
Yes.
Okay. So if somebody happens to know what her name is, go ahead and pop that in here so that we can all go and find it. But yeah, that's my understanding. If you're showing someone else's pattern, you can't show their pattern and you can't do a tutorial unless you have their permission. But
Right.
yeah, if you have, oh goodness, that's a name. Yeah,
Yes,
there's no
that's
way I
it.
can say that.
That's it.
No way I can
And
say
so
that.
that's usually what I do. If I'm making something from someone else's channel, as the whole time I'm making it, I'm every week dropping their link, not only for their channel, but also for the actual tutorial that I'm following, so that
Nice.
yes, they get the full credit. But I'm not doing any tutorials on it unless it's
Mm.
my design.
Sure, that makes perfect sense. That
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's talk about some of the different things that you've got going on. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know, okay, so you have the Bible readings.
Correct. Every morning I do a morning joy blog, which is
Mhm.
just a little, sometimes 3 to 5 minute devotion.
Mhm.
And I've had people, ask, if you leave a comment, then I always say a little prayer in your
Mhm.
comment back. But I've had people ask if I would pray. So I have recently started actually praying in that, 4 or 5 minute, but
Oh, right in the
but it's
devotional.
usually based on whatever the small little devotion
Mhm.
is.
Mhm. And how did you start doing that? What made you decide to start doing those?
Um, it's a little personal, but most people on here know. I just don't talk about it as much anymore. But I started really struggling health wise.
Mhm.
My spine was crushing my nerves, and gosh, it seems so long ago now, but it's been about a year and a half ago. But literally, my spine was crushing my nerves, and they told me that if I didn't have surgery to fix it, that within months I'd be in a wheelchair, and maybe in a year I wouldn't be here. But clearly, as we know, I had the surgery, and I lost my ability to walk. My surgery turned from 1 to 2 surgeries,
Mhm.
and I went from 2 days in the hospital to 9 days in the hospital, and had to learn how to completely walk all over again. I still don't have complete feeling,
Mhm.
and I'm still trying to get mobility in my legs. Mr. Joyful and I are actually in the process of getting me a computer chair so I can graduate this wheelchair that I'm sitting in, because I feel like I've progressed so much that it's just kind of a mental thing, like it's something that's holding back. But I decided to, my faith has always been strong. And a lot of people don't know this about me, but when I graduated college, I actually became a missionary, and I did youth ministry, and I traveled all over the United States doing youth ministry. And so my faith has always been a very strong part of my journey. And even in my darkest moments where I have them, I get depressed over certain things, but I always come back, like my faith has been strong. So I just began to feel like I had something more that I could give than just my passion for crocheting. And so I wanted to incorporate that and bring that in. And I thought if I did it in a small little way, like 3 to 5 minutes,
Mhm.
that I could really, because, joy is my life word, not
Mhm.
just here on the YouTube, streets. It has truly been my life word. And if I could bring a little bit more joy in any way that I can, then that's what I wanted to do. And honestly, those morning joy blogs, I'm going to try not to get emotional. They have saved my life, because when you are a very strong, dependent person and you have to learn how to become, independent, excuse me, not
Mhm.
dependent, but you have
Mhm.
to learn how to become dependent on people to do the simplest of tasks.
Yeah.
Um, it's very humbling. And long short of it, I wanted to give back. I wanted people to know that no matter what their situation was, that there's always hope, um, and that you can find joy in the chaos. And well, little did I know that uh, eventually my life would be taken from me, but it was still given back because God, in that moment, I think, because I've asked Him before, because it's a struggle sometimes,
Mhm.
especially since I am still trying to learn how to live in a daily world, in a working world, and fitting in with limitations and whatnot. Why, Lord? Why did you take me but bring me back? And the answer is because one, He needed to get my attention. He
Mhm.
needed me to understand what my real purpose is here. And second of all, I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but the very nurse that was with me that should have never let me get out of the bed to go to the bathroom
Mhm.
ended up saving my life because I died in the bathroom in the ER. And when I came back, she later, when she got off her shift, came and told me that she had accepted the Lord. She was like, if you bring this girl back, I'll know you're real. And I
Mhm.
came back. So I continue to do those morning joy blogs, and it's a struggle. That's hard to do something
Mhm.
every single day and
It
be
is.
consistent and faithful with it.
It
But
is.
but it is actually the part of my channel I enjoy the most. I love crocheting, y'all. Don't get me wrong. I love everything about yarn, but I get up every morning because of that. So it's actually helped me accept where my life is at. And I may never fully, walk gracefully again,
Mhm.
but that's okay. There's so much more that I'm thankful for. I get to still see the moon and the stars and the sun come out. And, I get to see, you know, the smiles on my dog's faces. And there's just so much more. So anyway, sorry, that was probably a little bit of a tangent, but
Not at all.
so
That's what we're here for is to learn about each other. And
but that's
I
how it
will tell
started and
you,
that's why it keeps going.
I am not overly religious. I do have God in my heart, and I am a believer. Um, I'm tearing up, and I do find a lot of days your that will pop up, and I don't catch everything. As you know, we can't spend our whole lives on YouTube. And it seems like one of those will pop up at the exact time and moment when I need to hear what you're talking about that particular day. And so those have meant a lot to me, and they brought a lot to my heart as well. So I do appreciate them. Look at me. I'm just a mess today. Oh, we were talking beforehand and I started crying. So they are appreciated. They are a lot of work, but they're definitely appreciated, even if you don't hear from everybody. And I know I don't always comment when I have watched them, and I try to. And I don't always. Sometimes I'll just put a little heart or a little emoji. Um,
I do
so
have to
we do
share something
appreciate
with you. You know, because life is hard, and I have recently, even though it's part time, started back into the working world.
that. Oh,
And the first 3 months I worked here at home remotely,
mhm.
and now I'm actually going out to an office. But and I have an amazing boss, which y'all all got to meet at my monetization party. But anyway, I almost I almost stopped my channel
Wow,
because it was like so much trying to
that's so
juggle
much.
it all.
Hmm.
And if I do go into work, even if it's only 4 hours, there's one long day that I have, but the other ones, it's usually 4 hours that I'm there. But this past Christmas, I got like 43 Christmas cards
Oh.
of people telling me their stories
Mm-hmm.
and how those Morning Joy blogs,
Yeah.
have
Yep.
changed their life. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I am a tool.
Mm-hmm.
None of that is about me. Those Morning Joy blogs are nothing about Cynthia, which is why you don't see me. You only hear my voice and there's a picture, because I truly want you to have that moment, whether you're truly sitting down and feeling like you're in the presence of God, or if you're just, clearing your mind,
Mm-hmm.
however your aspect of it is. It's truly about you in that moment, and just having clarity and starting your day fresh.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be trying something new with it next year. We'll be doing evening devotions
Oh,
instead of the
nice.
morning one. So it'll come out in the evening at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, just to do something different, just to kind of change
Yeah.
it up. But
Break it up
but
a little.
anyway, but to receive such an outpour of cards, I mean, I really bawled, but it was
Mm-hmm.
happy tears,
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and so, yeah.
Yeah. That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Um, it's nice when you're doing something and you know it's the right thing to do, and then you get some positive feedback for it. I've got a couple of people commenting. Yes, I apologize. I don't think I've got any moderators. And left is right. I just made you a moderator. Ta-da! So if you want to throw some stuff up there,
Hey, Sandy.
and I would appreciate that. Yeah, I know Dane is driving, so she can't do anything. And I don't think I only have 2 or 3 moderators, and I don't see any names in there today. So, but if you don't mind, Sandy, I just threw you in there, just threw you to the wolves. So if you want to throw a couple of those up, and I'll undo you right after this if you're not comfortable. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about. Thank you so much, Sandy. Let's talk about the Joy Box. When I first heard about the funny thing is I had heard about it somewhere else, and they called it a carousel box. And I thought, oh, what a fun thing. I want to start one of these. And then I saw yours and I'm like, oh, I don't have to start one of these. Somebody else is doing it. And so how did you think about that? How did you get started on that?
So the funny thing about that is I did not know about the carousel boxes. I think Seta had started one,
Mhm.
but I did not know about those when I first started the idea of the Traveling Joy Box. I actually was with a group of friends, and we were just kind of going back, doing some throwback movies,
Mhm.
and one of them was, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, or
The Traveling Pants.
something
Yep.
like that.
Love that. Mhm.
And so, anyway, and I love receiving my Crochet Society boxes every
Mhm.
single month. Like, that
Yep.
is like, you know, my Christmas morning,
Yes.
every month. And
That's
so
where my
I
knit
thought,
groups.
how fun would it be to send around a box of goodies, and it didn't have to all be yarn related.
No.
So when I started it off, there were 18 items in each box, and I would say probably 12 of them were yarn related stuff. And then the other
Mhm.
stuff were, like keychains that were great for the COVID time, where you didn't have to
Mhm.
touch your keypads or open the
Yep.
door. And there were some little devotional things and notepads and pens. But anyway, so that got started. And right after, I think it was like week 2 that they were going around, there's 3 of them. That's when I started hearing about the carousel boxes. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. So I thought, well, then this will really be a success because other people have done them and people are aware of them. And I was really shocked at the outpour of people that wanted to participate. So yeah, it was my way of sending a little joy. There's that word again, but
There's that word again. Yep. Yeah, that was so fun. And I love the videos where it shows the different states, and your little state outline has all the different stuff in the state. I get a kick out of looking at those. It doesn't matter how many times the individual state pops up. I still enjoy looking at all the little doodads in each one of the states. And you've gotten a really good response. There's a ton of people that are participating.
yes, and I still have about 8 homes that they need to go to, but y'all need to pray for me because all 3 boxes are stuck right now.
Oh no.
Um, Yeah, one of them's been stuck for 8 months, one 4, and the other one's going on 2. So help me
Oh,
pray we can get them moving again.
get those going. Yeah, watching the unboxings and seeing how excited people get with it, and just seeing the different things that are in there are just
Yes,
really, really
yes.
interesting.
Well, the
Re
idea is when they come back, then I planned on giving all 3 of them away. But
Oh,
yeah, so we'll
how
see. We'll
fun.
see what happens.
Hey, Maribel, good morning. Oh, frog, I did not realize that the frog stands for fully relying on God. That
Oh,
is
wow.
really
I
nice.
love it.
I figured it stood for something with all the dots in there, but I wasn't sure what it was. And yes, Kim, you're right. We are very inspired and grateful and joyful that Cynthia, you are still with us and still participating on with all of this stuff. It is hard in everything that you do. Every time I turn around, I think, how can she be doing even more stuff? It's just so much. Okay, so now let's talk about, oh, I know what we can talk about. You recently hit a major goal, didn't you?
I did.
So you are now have your 1,000 subscribers, you've got your 4,000 watch hours, and you are now monetized. Yay. Just so you know, I am far, far from all of that stuff. So, but that's very exciting because you have not been up and doing this for that long.
No, in
So,
fact, you mentioned that I started in 2019. I opened my channel, I think it was August or September of
August,
2019.
my daughter's birthday.
And
That's the only reason I can remember it.
and then March the 4th, 2020 was when I uploaded my very first video.
Wow.
And I was so nervous. And it was an upload, it wasn't a live.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so
That's
I just celebrated my 2-year pod anniversary in March, and
mhm.
uh
You've gotten
my
a long
monetization came up really fast. Like,
yeah.
I was not prepared for it, but I am excited nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I think most people that watch YouTube understand that that's kind of a goal. We have so many goals. You get your first 100, and then when you hit 500, you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, 500 people!" And
I
then
know.
the next big goal is that 1,000 mark. I can see it. I can't say I'm close, but I can see it. Where I'm about 120, 130 away from that 1,000 mark. But the thing is to get the 4,000 watch hours is so hard. Um, and I'm always just stunned when I hear that people have hit that, because I still, in fact, I hit 1,000 watch hours a couple weeks ago. And I've been doing this, well, off and on, like I said, off and on for about 4 years. Not consistent enough. And I understand that's the key. It's got to be more consistent. But
Right.
when I hear somebody hitting the 4,000 watch hours, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And what kind of doors does that open up for you as a YouTuber?
Um, I might be the wrong person to ask that. Um, and the only reason I say that is when I started, I told you my passion was to
Mhm,
have that passion with other people and being able to connect. And then I was like, oh my gosh, as I learned more about YouTube and getting monetized, I was
mhm.
like, oh, I can make a career out of this, and then I could just crochet the rest of my life.
No.
But to be honest, the journey that I have been on the last year and a half has changed my perspective.
Mm,
And I don't want to seem unappreciative about being monetized, but it wasn't my goal anymore.
right.
Um, my goal is truly to be a light and to show people that, again, what you're going through, there's always hope. There's always somebody out there. So, to be honest with you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, if I only had one subscriber,
Yeah.
which I don't call them subscriber, I call them joy friends. If I
Mhm,
only had one that shared my love for that beautiful, gorgeous stuff on the wall back there,
mhm.
um, I would be happy. I really would.
Yeah.
And so I don't see my life changing because I'm monetized. I really don't. I know I put some things out there, but I actually began to be afraid to be monetized.
Oh,
Um, my closest joy friends on here can testify that I was really nervous about it because I've seen it change people, and I've seen it change sometimes the way some of their channels go.
Mhm.
And I wanted to be the same me, and
Mm.
I hope to be the same me. I just want to be a better version of it.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that going forward that there's actually less of me and more of y'all in my channel. You know, I want my channel to be a platform that helps other people have a voice, whether they're someone that's like Jen Reeves, who, you know, really ought to be doing lives because she has a lot to offer and she
Mhm.
does in our channels, who's maybe a little nervous to start a channel. I want to be that big cheerleader, you know. Small channels that are learning how to do things, I want to be their big channels. I want to help them keep growing because if they're that big, they have something worth giving and showing.
Mhm.
And so that's like my Friday night cup to hook conversations, you
Yeah.
know. It's now more about you guys coming on and sharing. And that's what I want more of my channel. That's the change I want to see as my channel grows, become more of, is giving you guys a chance to shine. Um, because that's what makes me happy. That's what makes my heart smile, is to see other people sharing and, um, yeah, having a voice that otherwise they may not be comfortable or brave enough to do. So,
And it is hard. It's so scary to put that first video out there, and you'll be terrified about it, and you'll be scared, and you'll be afraid that it's going to be awful, and it will be awful. Your first couple videos are awful. And I had a mentor when I first started, and he said, just put it out there. Nobody's going to see it anyway. And I'm
that's
like,
right.
you're right. Because I mean, who goes back and watches those first few videos? And so yeah, and because of him, and I remember I had pages and pages and pages of notes, and I was just terrified to do that first couple of ones. And I was sitting outside, and I had the wind blowing, and the bees were buzzing me, and it was something else. But yeah, and I Amber and I were just talking. Hey Amber, thanks for popping in. I just made you a moderator, Amber. Thanks for popping in.
Hey, Amber.
Amber and I were talking the other day about how when we first started, we were trying to be very professional and speak clearly and enunciate. And now what people like is when we just sit and chat and be
Right.
ourselves, and our silliness comes through. And just like this talk, this is what the heart of us comes through, and that's what people enjoy seeing, and that's what I want to do. That's what because we do spend a lot of time on this. So it needs to be enjoyable for us as well. And somebody was saying, I think it was Sandy was saying how in order to make any money on this, and for those of you who don't know, being monetized, the amount of money you get is so incredibly tiny. And we have to now not only do we have to convince people to watch our channel, we have to convince them to watch the ads, because being
Yeah.
monetized just means now the ads that YouTube's already running ads on my channels, and I see them running ads on other people's channels that I know aren't monetized. So
Right.
now we have to convince you to watch those ads, because that's the only way that people who are monetized actually get any of those pennies. And it is truly pennies. So I know nobody wants to watch the ads, but let the ads run so that our favorite people like Cynthia can make a couple of dollars off of this thing. So yes, I'm with you, Christy. I really try to make a point to watch the smaller channels. And I'm bad. Sometimes I just let them run in the background. That's all I can do. So I'm not commenting and I'm not hitting their little thumbs up, but at least I'm giving them some watch time.
That's right. You're still supporting them.
Yeah, we can only do what we can do, right? We can only do what we can do with each other. There's only so many hours in the day.
And I'll tell
But
you, Robin, when I first started out, there were segments of my channel that I was doing, and it was like the biggest flops, but they're still there
mhm.
as a reminder to myself to keep growing, but also to those other channels that are starting out, like, oh my gosh, did you see what she did? if she can do that, then I can
Mhm.
definitely do this. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yep. Absolutely.
it's a trial and error, but
Oh, it is. It is wonderful. And my channel has morphed. I mean, it's nothing like it was when I first started. And I missed that part because that's what I was excited about. But I'm loving the yarn stuff, and the yarn community has been so welcoming, and it's been so much fun to interact with everybody. So this has really it has bolstered me. Oops, whoops. It has it has really, it's a big part of my life, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for all of you guys who communicate and interact and answer questions. I know if I'm stuck on something, somebody out there is going to be able to tell
right.
me how to do it, or help me pick out a color because I can't do colors. And so it's like having a whole house full of best friends, and that has
It
been
is.
wonderful. It has been wonderful. Are you good with color, Cynthia?
Um, Sometimes and sometimes not. I say that sometimes the way I buy yarn is it speaks to me before it comes off the shelf. Like if I see
Uh-huh.
it and all of a sudden a project pops in my head, I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
nice.
that's the yarn I got to buy.
Hmm.
So sometimes yes, and sometimes no. Sometimes I just see the yarn and it's gorgeous and I have no idea.
No idea what I'm going to do with
Like that
it.
Rapology yarn from Hobby Lobby. I don't know what I'm going to make with that, but like it was gorgeous. And
It's so beautiful.
and
It
so
is
my
so
my
beautiful.
brother-in-law bought me a bunch of 3 colors, it's
Mm,
like, "Just make something," and I'm like, "Are you serious? Do you see the price of that?" And he's like, "Just
mhm,
I can see you're eyeballing it." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm
mhm.
eyeballing it, but I have no idea what I'm gonna make with it, but it's sitting
Mhm.
back there and it's
Yep.
it's it's gonna eventually." But Robin, I do wanna say something real quick to
Yes.
smaller channels and people starting out. The greatest advice I could give, and like I said, I've only been at this 2 years, so it's not like I am an expert by any means. Um, the 2 biggest things that I would give as advice is whatever you do, just make sure you're having a good time, that
Mhm.
you're enjoying it because it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And the second thing is don't try to be like every other channel. Find your niche
Mhm.
and what makes you different, what makes you shine. Um, because we could all be the same, but then, it would become watching one channel is the same as watching another. So I just say have fun at what you're doing because it is a lot of work, but be you. Find what makes you you. I love it when I see channels that might be crochet channels, but then they throw in, like their animals. They do
Mhm.
animal stories, or they do their plants, or they do their keto diets, or they're exercising, or whatever. There's more to it than just the crochet. They keep us, engaged. And so that's my greatest advice, like I said, coming from only 2 years experience, but it's just
Well,
be
and
yourself.
I think if you're not having fun, it's going to show.
Yeah,
I really think that's going to show. And
sure.
I really do believe that that's what you're looking for. That's what people are looking for. Mhm.
I mean, I'll tell you on the movie night, which is like my favorite part of my channel, it really
Mhm.
is our movie night. Never would any of my college friends, my adult friends, I mean, even my crochet club, my friend Tasha that y'all met, I've known her, oh my gosh, now 16 years. And her biggest comment was when she saw one of the movie nights, she's like, who is that girl? I said, that's the girl that just never was brave enough to come out because never would any of them saw me getting on in front of anybody
Mhm.
and going, woot, woot, all the time because I'm always so like reserved and
Mhm.
together, and there's a whole different side of me in movie night that most people don't get to see. They don't get to see that kind of humorous side because
Mhm.
humor is never a word that I would have ever put as a description for me. And they're like, who is that laid back girl? So, because I'm the one with all the lists, I'm the one with all the
Mhm.
planners,
Yep.
and there is nothing list or planner wise in that girl on movie night. So, anybody who's a part of movie night gets to see a whole different side of me. And I really think that's a lot to do with why my husband has joined in on that, is because he first started falling in love with that side of me because he's a jokester. you
Mm-hmm.
know. But which is funny because when we first met in high school, he was kind of a wild child, and I was that reserved girl, who everybody knew was a Christian and read her Bible and carried her Bible around like a library book. And then in our life when we reconnected, he was more the shy, reserved person, and I was more the outgoing person. And then as life went on, I've always been in some kind of management role or some kind of leadership role. So I always felt like I was in this box. But on Friday nights, I definitely step out of that box and live, truly live. So that's my favorite part of my channel is Friday nights.
So tell us more about the Friday nights. I got to tell you, I've caught it a couple times, but because of the time zones, it was a little late for me, and so I
Right.
haven't got to watch it as much as I'd want to. And I'm thinking now, I haven't even done the math yet, but I'm 2 hours. So what time does it start?
So it starts at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which would be, I
Six. So
think,
6 o'clock now. So now, because I'm Pacific now, so now I could catch it. It was trickier when I was in Central Time and had to get up at 5:30 in the morning. So that was a little tough. But okay, so tell us all about movie night.
So we call it Cup to Hook Movie Night, which plays off of my earlier live in the evening, which is Cup to Hook Conversations, which is where I just share what's in my cup and on my hook. And then now I allow people to come up and do that. So movie night, I cannot take credit for it. It was not my idea. It was actually born from one of my wonderful Joy friends who've been with me since the beginning of my channel. And that would be Bree from Bree's Little Yarn Corner. And she came up with it. Well, the funny thing is, she'd been a part of my channel, but she didn't comment a lot on my channel. And then all of a sudden, she started commenting, going, "Hey, you ought to do this movie thing." And I was like, kind of nervous about it because, everything they talked about with copyright and piracy and all of that. I was like, how in the world can I do a movie
Mhm.
crochet night, And so then kind of started thinking about it and thinking about it. And 3 weeks after she brought it up, I was like, well, I could watch it and then do a trivia. And so that's how it came to be. And Jen Rees had a lot of input into it as well. So it was really a combination of other people's ideas that it was born. And so here we are. We are in our second series. We did Longmire. Now we're doing Call the Midwife. And so we watch 2 episodes every week. And we have trivia questions, anywhere from 15 to 20 questions per episode. And they're true and false, multiple choice. And then there's a couple bonus questions. So the way it goes, if you get an answer right, you automatically get a point. If you are the first person who shows in the chat, on my chat, because everybody's chat's
They're
different,
different, right?
you get 2 points for the correct answer. And then the bonus questions, only one person, the first person who shows up in the chat with the correct answer, gets 3 points. Points are added up. When you receive 25 points, you get a ticket. That ticket is entered into a wooden box. And what happens is when we're completely through with the series, ready to go on to the next one, then we'll draw a name from those tickets. And whoever's name is drawn gets a grand prize giveaway.
Nice.
And so every week, an item is added to that grand prize giveaway. Well, the bag is so heavy now. We're starting season 9 of Call the Midwife this coming Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That bag is so heavy that now my husband has to lift it to show it.
That's going to cost a fortune to send that out.
So, and then Mr. Joyful, he started joining us because we had so many people coming. It was hard for me to keep score and do the quiz. It was lasting so long.
Mm-hmm.
So he joined in and started keeping score. And so now he picks a mystery question. And so out of all the questions given that night, he'll pick one. And he's the only one who knows what it is until the end of the night. Like, I don't even know which one he's picked. And whoever answered that question first and got the 2 points, they actually get a small little giveaway.
Oh,
and
nice.
because it is a weekly thing, it's usually something that can fit in a regular size envelope.
Yeah.
Occasionally it's been something that I've got to send out in a little bigger envelope, but that's okay. So it's really fun. And then so every night everybody's a winner even if they just come and guess, because I have found that Netflix plays different things in different people's queue depending on where they live.
Mhm.
So not everybody can get Call the Midwife. And then my friends from
Oh,
Australia and well, I think they can get it in Australia, but in Trinidad, they don't all have access to the
right.
same shows we do, but
Mhm.
they still come and they guess and they play because we do have a lot of fun in and around the questions. And but anyway, so I do have people that guess. Some people, they might get to see it, but they just had a busy work schedule, or their
Mhm.
kids had a lot of projects or
Mhm.
homework or whatever. So they just come and play for fun, just to relax. But it is a lot of fun. So we've done Longmire, and we're now doing Call the Midwife, which I knew nothing about any of those shows until this. And now we just voted a couple weeks ago, and we drew our new name, our new series uh,
Mhm.
last Tuesday.
It's
And we're going to be doing Stranger Things. I know nothing
oh,
about it. I've gotten
it's
a lot of
cute. It's
different
fun. That one
so
I've actually seen.
yeah, and so the thing about it is, how does it incorporate crochet? Well, first off, I do
Ooh.
encourage everybody to bring a project and work on it while we're playing the game. I
Mhm.
do have people that just come and lurk and crochet and don't play. That's exciting too. But we usually have some kind of crochet along that
Mhm.
goes along with the show. So with Longmire, and I should have thought to have had it out today, but we created a blanket, and it was something that I designed. I just simply just took a bunch of stitches
Mhm.
and incorporated them. It was a trial and error, because there was one part where we included like the wave, not
Uh-huh.
the chevron, but it was like a wave stitch,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and then trying to create it straight again to go up. It did kind of create a little bit of funkiness on the edge, but most of the time when we put the border on it, for most of them, it's
Mhm.
straightened out. Depending on your tension, it might still
Mhm.
have a little curve there, but
Mhm.
it was fun. It was a huge project. It was like a full-size blanket.
Nice.
So we changed up colors every week. At first, we rolled dice colors, and then before we started doing points for giveaways, uh, it became whoever had like the most points or something, they got to pick the colors.
Oh,
So,
fun.
and we had 12 colors that we
Mhm.
went by. But anyway, so it was a lot of fun. But we've evolved, and now we did Call the Midwife. We actually had 3 different Call the Midwife baby blankets. One was the classic, and then
Mhm.
the other 2, I actually took the basic stitches of the flower from the classic,
Mhm.
and then the butterfly and the dragonfly,
Mhm.
and I created a mile a minute blanket, and then we did a
Oh, I love this.
like a granny square type
Uh-huh.
blanket, and we did hearts, a puff stitch heart. So we have 3
Mhm.
different Call the Midwife blankets that are on my channel. They're listed under Fun Day Monday, but they are in a playlist under the
Okay.
actual Call the Midwife Blocks of Love, or oh my gosh, can't think of all the names of them right now. But anyway, they are in my playlist. So that's why we've gone ahead and decided what the next series is, because now it gives me 2, possibly 3 months to start watching Stranger Things, that I can start coming up with some kind of project for
Yeah.
us to do. And
Yeah.
this
I'm
time I want to
trying
do
to
smaller projects so we can do quite a few.
it's been a while since I watched it, and man, I can't just off the top of my head. I'm not there's some real significant colors that you'll probably be able to work into things. But again, there's that thing where I have no imagination. I can follow a pattern. I can do what you tell me to do and what you show me to do, but don't expect me to come up with any ideas on my own. So I am very grateful for those of you who are true creators. I'm just following a recipe. You guys are the chefs. I'm just the cook. So that is wonderful. Wow, and that's a lot. I mean, that's really a lot of moving pieces there to to keep to get that figured out. And I know what you're saying about even keeping score with stuff. I've thought about doing like a little bingo thing, and even that, I'm like, how am I going to keep track of all of that stuff? And so, uh, again, hats off to you for getting that all figured out. And again, that's part of us being so much of a community, where even what ends up being your most favorite part of the channel was all suggested from other folks, but you pulled
Right.
it
It
all
wasn't
together
my
and you're
idea.
making it
Yeah.
work.
Right.
Yeah. Stranger Things is a good series. I really enjoyed it. Now I want to watch it again. It'll be fun to watch that one again.
Well, the thing I love about it most is, my husband's involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's actually made part of movie night hit. Because Mayor, who's in the chat, one night he and her kind of sparred over who had a certain sweet treat, and it evolved into now every Friday night he brings some kind of sweet treat. And that's what people are also excited about. I mean, they'll even start saying in my previous live at 7 o'clock, what is Mr. Joyful bringing? I don't know either. He doesn't tell me. So there are aspects of it that I don't know until you guys find out, is when I find out. Now, occasionally, sometimes when I'm on my 7 o'clock live, I'll be like, I smell something cooking. What is he making? But yeah, it's fun and exciting. So it also brings kind of an excitement to Friday night that I'm a part of, but I'm not a part of. So I have my own element of surprise on Friday nights, which is another thing that makes it great. Plus, it's something we're doing together and not separate. So
right. Yeah, that does become a problem. I'm always hollering at Mister. I'm getting ready to go live. I need you to be quiet. I'm getting ready to do a recording. I need you to be quiet. And so I basically banish him from everything that I'm doing. And when we were doing the lives, when we were driving up here from Texas, and I couldn't banish him because he was driving. And it was fun when he interacted and I was asking him questions. But that was stuff he knew about and was interested in. We were talking about the road. We were talking about the trip. We were talking about the highway and the different stops. And he was a truck driver for 40 years. Over 40 years. And so that's all in his brain. I can ask him any road, any highway, any freeway, anywhere in the country, and he knows exactly where it is. And this is not an exaggeration. I have been lost. Yeah, well, I'm always lost when I'm driving, but I have been lost in Texas. And I will call him, say, I am trying to get to here. And he'll go, what exit are you at? Okay, go down 5 miles. There's going to be an exit. You're going to turn left. I'm like, how can you do that from across the country? It's all in his brain. Right, so it was really fun to be able to include him in that stuff. And so, yeah, I can see why that's such an interesting and enjoyable
Dennis?
thing.
Is that his name? Dennis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dennis, yeah.
Well, I just want to see more of Dennis.
I don't know. It's scary. The man has no filter is the problem. If it pops in his brain, he says it. And I'm always scared of what he's going to say on camera. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll try to sneak him in a little bit at a time. The dogs too. The dogs are great. I love showing them, and I love, because that's what this was kind of all started, was traveling with these monster dogs and what it was like. And what ended up happening is I film while Mister is napping, and then the dogs all go off with him to go nap. So they're never even in the videos. But yeah, it's fun to bring in other people into it and get just a different perspective of stuff. That makes it more interesting as well. So I'm looking forward to Stranger Things. I have actually tried, and the Midwife series I have been trying to watch, I think, since the thing started, and I'll get going on it. And that's one of those shows where I really like it, and Mister's like, are you kidding me? I cannot watch this. Yeah. And so I have to find times when he's not around in order to watch it. And hey, Trish. Hi. Thanks for popping in.
Hey, Trish.
We were just talking about you. So that's one of those shows where I want to be able to, and I want to be able to pay attention to it. And when we were on the rig, I could watch TV anytime I wanted, but I couldn't pay attention to anything because I was popping up and down all the time. And so now that I'm in a house and I'm not actually working 24 hours a day, I'm making plans to go back and see some things that I wasn't able to actually. Hey, Linda, thanks for popping in.
Hey, Linda.
That I'll be able to go and watch some things that I have to pay attention to, that I want to pay attention to.
I have to comment on Mare's comment. She says, my one cat looks forward to movie night. Miss Minnie is addicted and comes running when Minnie hears Cynthia's voice. And she is vocal, and it is so sweet.
That is funny. That's nice. Hey, Trish, be watching for, I'm sending you another email tonight. Be watching for that. So I think I am. I think as most of you guys know, I'm having eye surgery in a couple hours. And so I was even hesitant about doing my live today, but I thought, well, it's a better way to keep my mind off things and get a couple of prayers in the background. So gives treats to the dogs. Somebody was saying, oh, it was, I don't remember who it was now. I was watching a video and she was having her dog sit. And as she was saying, sit for your treat, you got to sit. And boom, Max sat down. I'm like, okay, I got to go get you a treat now. So they are definitely involved in our videos. That is so fun. So, yeah, so I'll look forward. Do you know about when your next series will start? I feel like I'm behind because I haven't watched it. And I don't know any of the answers, but I kind of want to start at the beginning of your next series.
So there's about 10 episodes. So that's 5 weeks there. So we're looking at about, and there's 10 seasons out currently. So we're looking at about 10 more weeks. So about 2.5 months to finish up Call the Midwife. Okay. And then I just saw the other day, but I haven't had a chance. I'm hoping to do that today, that it looks like there might be a brand new season of Longmire.
Oh,
so should that be the case, then we will revert back and watch that one season of Longmire and then start. So I'm probably, if I had to guess, maybe somewhere around the beginning to the mid part of July.
Okay.
So probably about 2.5, 3 months. But
that's pretty good. But then the way you're running it, really and truly, a person could pop it in at any point. Just pick up those.
Right. Exactly.
And then how do you announce which episode you guys are watching?
So every Wednesday night, I do put out a little video reminder, and it's like a minute, if even that. And it tells you exactly what 2 episodes, what season and what 2 episodes we're doing on Friday. Okay. And that is the thing. Again, whether you actually see the episodes or not, it's all guessing, it's multiple choice or true and false. So just come. I mean, on true and false, you got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. But again, it doesn't matter because honestly, it only takes getting 25 points, just getting your name in the box one time to get the giveaway. And that's the thing. It's not even about the giveaway. We really, truly, and I'm not just saying this because it's on my channel. Like, I truly look forward to Friday. And now my husband is just as excited. And Fridays, he used to look forward to Friday nights, getting on the computer and playing his computer games. Now he is, I mean, he'll call me and it's like, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going live in an hour with my first live. Well, I'm at Walmart getting my sweet treat. So you just go on ahead, Like, he is just as much into it. But I just lost my whole train of thought. I got so excited. Oh, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you've not been with us from the beginning, because again, for the grand prize giveaway, you only have to have one entry. But it's so much more about the prizes. It's so much more about the questions. It is about what happens in between the questions. Yeah, the laughs, the giggles, We do have people that come on, like sadly, Tiffany came on and, she's like, y'all, my mom's in the hospital. Please pray for her, and then 2 weeks later, which was this past week, her mom passed. So we kind of have a variety of things that happen on Friday nights, to life and then to just being silly and having fun. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's a
That's what
very
makes
laid back thing.
Yeah, that's what
Very,
makes
very
them
laid
over.
back.
And the few that I've been able to pop in for a little bit, I have fallen asleep to them a few times. I thought, okay, I'm in bed, I'm snuggled in, I can watch it, and I wake up and it was a long time over.
So
But
I've made a goal because it was going kind of long. The average was about 3.5 hours.
Mhm,
And a lot of that's because, we would in the beginning we were having discussion and stuff on it as well.
mhm,
But now I try to make it only 15 questions, per episode. Sometimes there might be a few more. Sometimes there's actually been
mhm,
less, just so we can have that engagement
yeah,
in between, because
mhm.
something might be said. And sometimes some of those episodes, especially with Call the Midwife, you know, this was based on real life
Right,
stories.
right.
And some of that stuff is hard. It's
Mhm.
really hard. And I will tell you, if you've not watched Call the Midwife and you try to start, make sure you have Kleenex. Because you do a lot of crying. But it's an emotional thing because of some of the tragedy that happens.
Right.
But also there's a lot of tender moments, like just really squishy moments,
Mhm.
where I mean you have compassion for other people, and you celebrate in the victories that are a part of it, and it deals with all kinds of topics. Like, if you can imagine it, that show embellishes it,
Mhm.
and I've learned quite a bit about life from watching this.
Mm.
It's been a really true eye opener. I had no idea. When you think Call the Midwife, you think, oh, it's all about birth and babies, but
Mhm.
there's so much more. I mean, they touch so many different topics in there. And then the other neat thing that I found out about it is every scene where a baby is born, it's a real life birth.
Oh,
I did not know
really?
that. They literally had women that were pregnant. Truly, it was filmed around their real life birth. I
Huh.
did not know that until I saw some of the behind the scenes stuff. And I was
Neat.
like, are you kidding me? But no, every birth is really a real life birth. It's not just acting.
That is
So I was
phenomenal.
like, oh my gosh, how wonderful is that? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because so many times you see a birth on TV and the kid looks like it's 3 months old when it's born, you know? That's really cool. That's really good. No, I had no idea. So
But
that's
also from the educational part, Robin, of how births were done back then compared
Mhm.
to now,
Oh,
how the
yeah.
medical field has
Mhm,
expanded.
mhm.
I mean, I think about my own children being born, and oh my gosh, I'm telling you, the real women that gave birth are those, back then,
Yeah.
because oh
Mhm.
my gosh,
Yeah, it was a whole
we
different
today
world.
just have no clue.
Yeah, it was a whole different world.
And I mean, it's still been like almost, a quarter of a century since I gave birth to children, and
Mhm.
how we even have evolved from the time I was, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Sandy is saying a couple of weeks ago that they took over with the conversation about Octavia and her eggs, which I don't know what we're talking about here. So you'll have to explain that. But I'm pretty sure, Sandy, that the conversation was delightful.
Yes.
So what is Octavia and her eggs?
Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
Uh, so, well, does anybody have any questions for Cynthia? This has been so interesting to learn about how your channel has evolved and all the different things that you have. Did I missed something though? There's the one before the trivia night.
That's cup to hook conversation. And that's
Okay.
just where I share what's in my cup on my hook and allow people to come up and share what's on theirs.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So that's
I had
similar to
other segments, but
my
they've either finished or I decided that it was time to put them to rest. But
Mhm.
I did a book series. Again, Bree sent me a book on angels, and they were true stories. And
Mhm.
so I shared that book. And I recently had someone ask me if I was going to do more angel stories. And I'm like, if I find another angel book, maybe.
Mhm.
So that's something I'm praying about, is whether or not to do another kind of story series or not. The Bible studies are coming back. I know several people have been asking about those.
Mhm.
Um, to be honest, the two things that I've struggled with the most since getting more on my feet and taking on a job is finding time to crochet. Last
Right?
night was the first time I had crocheted in 4 weeks. You guys, that is like very sad. That's a travesty.
Mhm.
But let me just tell my brother-in-law I'm on a live.
Sure, absolutely.
Sam, I'm just letting you know I'm on an actual live.
Hi, Sam.
They're saying hello. And spending time getting the Bible studies ready. So I am looking at the first Wednesday in May. We will be starting our Bible studies back for those of you that were a part of that and are interested in that. I do want to share one other exciting tidbit, and then I'll hush.
Sure. No, don't hush.
A lot of people don't know this, but some of the music on my videos, especially on my main intro, my son, that's my son actually performing. That's him actually playing. So some of the music and some of my stuff is actually my son's work. I wish he would get back more into his music.
Mhm.
He is self-taught and he plays 12 different instruments. His two that he's the best at are drums and the piano, keyboard. But he was going places as a drummer, and he had ambitions to actually go to Tennessee and try to, pick up and be in somebody's band. But he explored college for a while, and that wasn't, for him. And so he's trying to find his place. He's a security guard right now for a big company, but yeah, he's 23. But a lot of the music in my videos, he's actually designed and created for me.
That is amazing. I'm always so in awe of anybody that can play a musical instrument, sing, any of that kind of stuff. It's fantastic.
And he's the same one that got me started with YouTube.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then somebody, Runaway mentioned you also do the Thursdays with Trish. So,
Yes.
that's a whole other thing
So
that you recently
that
started.
is, and we're going into right around 2 months now. And so that is exciting. Yes.
Oh, has it been 2 months already?
Yes. We started at the beginning of February.
I
So
remember
we're coming up on May. So
I remember when she made the announcement. I'm like, oh, this is so exciting. And then I've caught you guys several times. It seems to be easier for me to catch your Thursday night show than your Friday night show. So
that's a very laid back show too.
Yeah, it is. That's a lot of fun. I'm glancing over here and seeing the shenanigans with Octavia. I think I'm going to have to pop over there and learn a little more about Octavia. She sounds like
oh my gosh. That's cute though, Sandy. I like that idea.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. So there's been a couple of comments about my eye. I'm not afraid of the surgery today. This will actually be the third or fourth surgery on this eye. I've had LASIK, and then a couple of years later, I had cataract surgery on both eyes. And then I had to have a floater removed. I had a floater that was so big, and normally they'll just absorb, but this one was so big, and the placement, it was blocking my optic nerve. So I had no vision whatsoever in that eye. And apparently there's some kind of a thing. If it's a weird thing, it's going to happen to me. But apparently there's some kind of a thing. So, those of you who don't know, but when you need cataract surgery, you get this film that grows over your lens. So then they remove the lens and they put in, so basically you have fake lenses installed in your eye. Ta-da, you can see again. When you need cataract surgery, it's like there's a coating of Vaseline over your eyes. So a couple of months ago, I'm realizing I'm struggling to see out of my right eye, and I can't see the TV anymore, and I'm not seeing the street signs very well. And I'm like, well, it seems like the cataract thing, but I've already had cataract surgery, so it can't be. Well, apparently there's a thing where this dealy grows back. So it's just exactly like having cataracts, except that you've already had that surgery and had it replaced. So it's a laser treatment. It's a very simple procedure. They do it. Well, I'm going to a specialty eye clinic, so it's done right there in their surgery center. And in theory, by tonight, I'll be able to see again. So I don't know if I'll have an eye patch. Did I have an eye patch
Wow.
after I had
I don't
my
know, but I got two of them.
cataracts? I can't remember. He took such good care of me when I had my cataract surgery, my LASIK surgery. But in theory, and I'm really glad I'm getting this done. I was going to put it off till the fall when we had originally planned to come home. But even just over the last 2 weeks, I can tell how much worse it's gotten. So it should be fine. It should be a fairly simple procedure. I'm not scared per se, but it's just, when they're messing with your eyes, it's a little cringy. And so, that's the underlying thing there. So I really appreciate your guys' thoughts and your best wishes and your prayers. I really appreciate that a lot. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I'm just really hoping my last conversation with the doctor, that's the one thing that I'm nervous about is she's like, well, when we get in there today and take a look, we'll see if we can actually do the procedure. And I'm like, oh, time out. I thought that was all scheduled and planned and no problem. But the doctor that did my original appointment and looked at everything and diagnosed it and did all the testing is different from the doctor that's doing the procedure. So she hasn't actually seen me yet. So that's the only thing I'm actually nervous about is having waited this time and gone through all of this and come home from Texas to get this done. And then her say, oh, sorry, we can't fix it. Or, oh, I can't do it or whatever. So that's what I'm nervous about at this point. So
Robin, if you can just send me a quick email like tomorrow, not today. Don't do it today. I'll be upset if you do it today. Tomorrow, just to let me know, or even Thursday morning, so that Trish and I can say something about how you're doing Thursday night. That would be great, that we can let folks know how you are.
I absolutely will. I absolutely will. And I know Trish and I are having some conversations. And so I'm hoping to be able to connect with her tonight as well, too. So, but yeah, so that's my little bit of nervousness. And that's why I did at first, I was hemming and hawing about doing my live today. And I'm like, no, I need to do it. I need to keep my mind off of it and keep busy. And honestly, I almost forgot about it. I was telling Cynthia earlier.
Yeah.
Mr. and I are doing, there's so much work. How did you get a house? There's a million things to do. And he's like, okay, what do we got to do tomorrow? We got to go here. We got to go to the store and pick out rock for the thing. And we got to go and do this. And I'm like, yep. And I says, and don't forget, I've got my live. And then I'm flipping through my emails and there's a reminder about something to do with my surgery. I'm like, oh, my surgery is tomorrow. We can't do all those things. So I literally had forgotten that it was today. So that was, I thought that was so funny. So obviously I'm not too worried about it, but it's just, that's what you got to do is just keep busy. That's the key, I think, sometimes. So, Fiberfloozy stamping everyone in. She had Flashy stamping everyone in. And all I could think about was, boy, if Octavia could get her suckers on Flashy. So I'll have to go back and I enjoy Fiberfloozy too. I'll have to go back and find that one. So does anybody have any questions for Cynthia or anything they want to add to the conversation? I hope I got a chance to say hello to everybody. That's the one drawback to doing this type of a live is where we're focusing on the guest, which is what's important. And I don't always catch all the comments and everybody coming in because our guest is the focal point. So I'm so happy that you joined us today. Thank you guys, everybody who popped in. Cynthia, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm just thank you for having me.
I appreciate you joining me. And don't be surprised if some of you guys get an email from me inviting you on. I'm trying to get this stuff all figured out still. And, but I've been connecting with some folks that have been very, very kind with their time and very generous with their time and popping in to help me muddle through this. Cause I truly do not know what I'm doing. And I learn something every single week on these lives. I learn something new. And, I appreciate you guys letting me fumble along as well. Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate that.
I enjoy your lives. Honestly, I think out of everyone that does interviews of people, yours are just I mean, they always draw me in, so I love them.
Good. Good. That's I'm doing what I wanted to see from lives. So and not everybody likes it. Not everybody enjoys it. So, everything is everybody teach their own. But
Right.
uh, I do. I enjoy doing them. I enjoy learning, just what we learned today about you has just been so, so great. Thank you, Lori. Thank you. So, well, I guess I'll keep doing them then. As long as folks keep watching them, I'll keep muddling through and seeing what I can do to get folks to come on and visit. Yeah, the time really does go fast. Yeah, we're coming up on an hour and a half already. So now next week, and we've got that run right on there. We've got Lynette from Charmed Grammy Crochet. She and I are, we know for sure it's going to be next Tuesday. We don't know for sure what time it's going to be. We need to work around her work schedule a little bit. And so we're still finalizing the time that it's going to be. But as you guys can tell, I'm still struggling with where the camera is on this thing. On my live, I've been putting up that photo of the dogs, the 3 dogs laying on the couch there. So you can always tell when you see that, that's going to be information about my lives. And I think if I just do that consistently each time, you'll know what to look for on that. Does that seem like a good thing? Is that working out for folks? So yeah, I think I took that from you. And because I'm not good enough yet to figure out how to do all the different little doodads that you do. Your videos are so interesting with all of the graphics and things that you use. And I'm still trying to figure, I haven't figured any of that out yet. So I just plop a picture up there and go, this is it. Look, watch here.
Well,
So
anytime I can help you, it would be an honor to do so.
Oh, thank you so much. And I will take you up on that. Let me tell you. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. So, okay. Hey, here's the other thing. If you guys have any suggestions on who you might want to see on here, you guys have my email, or just in one of my lives or in one of my comments, just pop in and I'll do my best to I have no shame. I'll go talk to anybody and do my best to get them on here. The worst they can do is say no, right? They can't take our yarn away from us. So, we'll see what we can do to get some people on here that you guys want to talk to. And I actually, let me tell you, there's a couple of names that have been popping up today that you're going to hear from me. Absolutely. So we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much again, Cynthia, for joining us.
Thank you.
Will join us again next Tuesday at some point in the day for Lynette. And make sure you stay tuned for Finish It Friday, which I got to tell you, is a little lean these days, because just like you were saying, there's no time for crochet when you're moving. But I can still always find something to talk about. Oh, Kelly's Crochet Adventures.
Oh yeah,
write that down. K-E-L-L-I.
That's a great channel.
And I'm sure I'm terrible with names. Terrible with names. Crochet Adventures. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so very much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And